to the glow, where warmth begins. Nick and Becca, where good vibes win. Pull up a chair and let's get started to business tips with a cool, relaxed view. Fireside chats with Nick and Becca, business tips where it's at.
Welcome to Nick and Becca's Fireside Chats, brought to you by Tricress. Tricress is the home of the Kick-Ass Culture Coach and Consultant program. Everything every business coach and consultant needs to make them successful. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sister and brother team who founded Tricress and find out what really makes them tick, what irritates them, and what makes them laugh. So we're back and we're going to do baked goods. Now I gave Nick a choice. He has chosen baked goods and I'm just curious as to know why you've chosen baked goods as a topic.
Well, I think probably because I'm a little bit hungry.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
And because I immediately thought of Mr. Kipling's
I knew you
cake.
would. I knew you would.
So there's two things there. First of all, I immediately thought sweet rather than savoury.
Yeah, yeah.
And you may be thinking of savoury. You might have immediately gone, perhaps if you're a person based in the UK, you might have gone Greggs.
Greggs. Sausage roll.
By the way, in Manchester on Thursday on Market Street, which was all done out for students because it's Freshers' Week, so there were lots of things for students and things. There was a double-decker Greggs bus.
Superb. Superb.
The top bit was open with a DJ playing some really banging tune. In fact, he was playing a song about a track by Dua Lipa.
Oh, very good.
Right.
I've actually heard of her.
And then the bottom, they were serving their tasty bakeware.
Oh.
And of course, there was a queue of students queuing up. But anyway, so no, I went Mr. Kipling straight away. That's what I think of baked goods.
And your favourite Mr. Kipling selection?
Now, they no longer do these.
Oh. I think, can I guess? Was it a French fancy?
No.
Oh, bugger,
because they still do those.
Oh, I don't know then.
Mr. Kipling used to do blackcurrant separate and apple separate sundaes.
Ooh.
Which was an open, let me take the former, an open blackcurrant pie, but with a false cream on.
Right.
Like a fondant-y cream.
Oh, right, okay.
Because obviously they weren't refrigerated.
No.
Right? Now, as far as I'm aware, they don't do them. Why is this important for me?
I don't know.
Because when I was at Stand Grammar School in Whitefield, at the end of Church Lane and cross the road was a Presto. Younger viewers will not be familiar with Presto.
No.
But in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, Presto's was the name of a supermarket.
It was.
Like Asda. So, Presto.
They got bought by Tesco.
Probably did. So I used to go in there, and it was when I was a teenager, so I was like 13, 14, 15. As you know, I had a car washing round, so I was quite
You were moneyed.
I was moneyed. I did very well on my car washing round. And my treat to myself, because I could never eat enough.
No,
anybody who's got teenage boys in their life, or if you have been a teenage boy, you'll know this. I could never eat enough. So I would go to Presto's and buy, they were done in 5s, and just eat 5 of them.
Were you not sick?
No.
I've never liked Mr. Kipling cakes.
No, because you like proper home-baked stuff. I do. And I've got used to home-baked stuff because my mother-in-law, Susan, who is wonderful, is a fantastic baker of pies. And so she does sweet things. So she does crumbles and things and just, she indulges me, which is lovely. Yeah. So I've come to like them. But I do like false stuff, I do.
I know, I don't know why, it's disgusting. Those fondant French fancies.
They're too sweet.
Yeah, they're just all sugar.
And I don't like the look of them. Because it's all a fondant, which I'm not keen on.
So what, now they don't do those apple and blackcurrant things? What
just your straight apple pie. You can't go wrong with a manna slice.
A who?
Manna slice.
What's a manna slice?
It's like a fruit and nut kind of little slice. Mr. Kipling. Fortnum's do a very nice. My favourite really is a mince pie. Like, and I'm starting to see them in shops now because we're the end of...
No.
Yeah.
Do you like a Costco mince pie?
No, I don't, because they've got sponge on them. Whereas I know my sister's husband loves them.
Oh, he's obsessed.
Not keen. Not enough mince in them. There's not enough mince.
But you don't like a homemade mince pie?
It depends. It does depend. I've started to appreciate the home baking more.
Well, that's good.
So one thing I never used to like was Christmas cake. I bloody adore Christmas cake. And again, Sally's mum makes a gorgeous one, and Sally, my wife, makes a beautiful Christmas cake. But she's not made this year.
No, well, we didn't want one because we go away. And
so she's
David's
not made.
the only one that eats
That's right. So she's not made one.
No.
So I'm going to buy Fortnum's one. But Fortnum's are beautiful.
Oh, they'll be nearly as good as homemade.
Yeah, they're really,
if they're
really
good
nice.
enough for the king, then they're good enough for you.
Yeah.
If you were on death row, what would be your last baked goods kind of go-to?
Oh, Christmas cake.
Really?
Yeah, thick, chunky icing.
Ooh, and the marzipan.
You know, the marzipan. The icing, I like the crunchy icing, not the soft icing.
Right, so like the royal icing, the hard icing.
Yeah, I didn't know it had a name, royal icing. Yeah, the crunchy icing. And you know I love marzipan.
Yeah, you ate one.
I used to eat blocks of marzipan.
Did. Yeah, and still not be sick.
No, I was never sick.
I don't know how you would do... You were sick once. Do you remember when we were on the adventure holiday? And you were...
We've already done this.
And you ate the dried bag of dried food.
We've done this.
Yeah, was that when we were doing camping?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, dried apple flakes.
But no, are you going to ask me about baked goods?
Well, I know you. Well, you love baking.
I like bake. I don't do a lot of it anymore because I don't have a big household anymore.
There's no one to bake for.
No, there's nobody to bake for, and I also taught my kids how to bake. So Lottie in particular is a better baker than me.
Oh wow!
Because she practices much more. She lives with a 28, I think, or 29. Sam's 29 now.
Is he?
Old bloke, and he works out. So he eats like you describe you ate. So she bakes a lot, and Ruby bakes, but I don't do so much anymore. I'm not a fan of a baked good anymore as I've got older.
Whereas as I've got older, I like those things more because there was a long period of time where I just didn't even have a dessert.
No, I don't anymore.
I'm not a dessert person at all.
I'll make an exception for a crumble.
Yeah, crumble's nice.
I'm making an exception. So I went blackberry picking the other week and I've got a massive haul of blackberries and I made the most delicious blackberry crumble. And that I'll eat a massive pile of.
Would you have custard or cream?
Custard.
Yeah, custard.
Custard. I do homemade custard.
Well, that's very good. I like Tesco's Finest.
Or Waitrose Finest Madagascar vanilla.
Yeah,
Madagascar
that's right.
Vanilla
In the microwave, but then I could eat custard just on its own.
Yeah, I used to do that when I babysat. They used to have posh custard. I used to stand and eat.
Oh my God, yeah.
But because I was babysitting, I couldn't eat too much because then they'd notice that I'd eaten it all.
I mean, you hear stories of babysitters getting up to all sorts of things, and I think on the scale of
I just ate custard.
Things that babysitters have done that they probably shouldn't have done, that's really low on the naughty list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, as opposed to like getting your boyfriend in and knocking his face off.
No, I used to phone my boyfriend when I babysat.
Yeah, well, again, that was before itemised bills and all that.
Yeah, it was.
Isn't it? So people wouldn't have known.
No, and eat custard. But that was it. That was it, really. So, other than that, what about baked goods overseas? Because you travel a lot for your job. I'm thinking of, a Portuguese tart.
Well, that's the obvious thing that comes to mind is the Portuguese tart, which I can't remember what they're called.
No, me neither.
Those little custard things, they are adorable.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, not really.
A croissant?
Yeah, croissants are nice, aren't they?
Chocolat.
Not mad keen, whereas I love chocolate. As you know, a real weakness of mine is chocolate. But chocolate in the pastry, not keen.
And Now, one of the subjects you rejected for today was school, but I'm going to bring this round to school dinners.
Yeah. I think baked goods and school dinners. Yes. Back in the day.
Yes.
Trays of sponge.
Yeah.
Those aluminium trays of sponge.
Ours were plastic by the time
they were aluminium when I was a kid.
Oh, we used to have treacle sponge and custard.
Yeah.
Chocolate sponge and mint custard. Did you have a mint custard?
I don't remember mint custard.
We used to have chocolate sponge and the mint custard was green.
Do you remember pink sponge at school?
Yes! What was in pink sponge?
All kinds of additives. It was the 70s, so all kinds of additives. But because the food was full of additives, then you go out in the playground and run round like idiots.
Yeah, you did.
So there was it's probably for younger viewers, it's hard to believe this, and I've said this to my children, but genuinely, when I was at school, at primary school, there were no fat kids.
Oh, we had one in our. Well, we had two, Lynn and Tracy.
Oh, we had one. She was called Sandra. Right. Which is a very 70s name, isn't it, Sandra? But her mum and dad owned a newsagent's.
But
otherwise, there genuinely was not a child obesity problem at all. No. And I'm absolutely convinced some of that is because we had additives at lunchtime, massive. So then we just ran around outside like complete idiots and just burned it all off.
Yeah,
we were lunatics, weren't we?
Yeah, we did.
Do you remember Manchester tart?
Yes. I like Manchester.
I'm not even sure what Manchester tart is. Isn't it lattice?
Yeah.
It's treacle, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Goodness me.
With like a layer, so I think it's pastry, a thin layer of jam, and like a treacle layer,
and then lattice.
And a lattice on top.
So again, the amount of sugar we were given.
Pure sugar.
At school lunches, now you would not get away with it. There'd be oh my goodness, there'd be questions.
Jamie Oliver would have heart failure.
Yeah, but back then, you just ran round and got it all the energy off, didn't you?
Yeah, you did. And when you got home, what would we have as our snack when we got home?
Jam butties.
Jam butties. So you'd have the thickest, whitest...
We might, if this person is American that's watching, we need to tell them what a butty is.
It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich, but it's a very northern butty, jam butty.
Yeah. So the thickest, whitest, Warburton's...
Yeah, it's got to be white bread.
If you haven't worked out by now, Nick and Becca, Rebecca and Nick, to use their posh Sunday names, are really passionate about building businesses, giving business coaches and consultants out there everything they need to succeed. Yeah, we have a laugh about it. It's not brain surgery. Join us, find out more at tricrest.com, TRICRES. Back to the podcast. When you used to get that white bread, you used to roll it into a little dough.
Yeah, fabulous stuff.
Because it would just turn into a dough.
Yes.
So you'd have a thick layer of really cheap margarine.
Yeah, because we could only afford margarine.
And then you'd have like a massively thick layer of the cheapest jam ever. Yeah. And then you'd put it on one slice of bread, and then you'd fold it over.
And that was a jam butty.
And you'd get it, sometimes you put it on a plate, sometimes you didn't, depending. And then you'd bite into it, and all the jam would seep out the sides.
That was fabulous.
It was fabulous. And that was your snack when you got home.
Yeah, I'd have 2 or 3 of those.
I think I would probably have 1 or 2, yeah.
Do you remember when we were filmed doing that?
Yeah, I do, for a documentary.
It was a documentary about the demise of the corner shop.
Yes, yeah.
It was. And we were filmed, this film crew came, and they filmed Mum picking me and my sister up from our friend's house. It was Tina's house, Tina and Steve's house. Yeah. Picked us up, and then I was filmed being in the sitting room and saying to my Mum, I'm hungry, and she shouted, make yourself a butty. I then go to the bread bin. The bread bin has no bread in it, and I'm sent down the corner shop.
Did you go in your slippers?
Right, but do you remember this bit? No, normally, us not having any bread, that was the norm.
That was the norm.
But on this particular day, in all seriousness, we had 3 loaves of bread.
How did we manage that? We never had bread.
So what we had to do was hide the bread in a cupboard for me to go in the bread bin, shot of empty bread bin. This is, I don't know, honestly, couldn't make this up. and I'm not making it up, I ran to the corner shop. I was filmed running to the corner shop. I went in the corner shop, I said, loaf of bread, please. Bearing in mind this was about the convenience of the corner shop, and the shopkeeper said, sorry mate, we've sold out. So somewhere there is a clip of me on a clipping room floor, which would have been long swept up, of me, seriously, coming out the corner shop, you remember it, shouting right down the street, they haven't got any! So we had to take the 3 loaves of bread that were at our house to the corner shop, and for me to come out with one that we had already.
It's the magic of TV.
The magic of
That's
TV.
what it is.
Don't believe anything.
It's the magic.
Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, is not really a magician.
It's all in the edit.
It's all in the edit. And today's the day we lost Dame Maggie.
I know.
Maggie
how
Smith.
Sad is
Yesterday,
that?
in fact, didn't we?
Yesterday,
Dame
yeah.
Maggie Smith,
I was very, very sad
who worked
to
for
hear
72 years.
that. Incredible actress.
I bet she liked baked goods because she would have been of that generation.
Oh, she would. Yeah, she would.
She was 86, so she'd have been about 1930. She'd have been born.
89 she was.
So yeah, 1930 she'd have been
Yeah, I know,
born.
she's seen a lot, hasn't she?
She'd have seen a lot of baked goods.
Yeah.
Although not so much in the Second World War, of course, when it was all powdered egg and
Yeah.
there was all that kind of business.
That documentary was never shown.
No, the documentary
No,
was
it
never
was
shown, so
never
it filmed
shown.
and they never ever showed it.
No.
But there are no where we used to live on a terraced houses. There were 3 corner shops.
Yeah. Now there's
There
none.
were 3 corner shops. One was the newsagents,
Yeah.
which sold bread and bits and pieces, but newsagents, fags and sweets, newspapers. One was the little grocers where you could get your fresh ham, your cheese, your tins of produce, and the other one was the off license.
That's right, the
which was the offie, which was open late, which was fags and sweets and booze.
Yeah, yeah.
None of them exist anymore.
They don't, which is really sad.
I know
isn't
it is. They've all been converted to houses.
Yeah, I know.
We're off baked goods.
And well, in a way we are, but in a way we're not.
Well, you could certainly get baked goods from those.
Yeah, you could.
Talking about old-fashioned baked goods, I don't suppose they're classed as baked goods, but Fray Bentos pies.
Oh my God.
Which my mum wouldn't stomach. She wouldn't tolerate. That was too. There was a lot of horrible foods in the 70s. And a Fray Bentos pie is a suet pie that's in a tin, and you would pierce it in one end and boil it for half an hour, and it would cook in the tin, and then you get a tin opener to open it. But even Mum wouldn't tolerate those.
That Jez, the lodger we had those, and then he got appendicitis.
You're right. He was a scruffy rocker man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he used to have his motorbike and bits in his room.
That's right, in his room, yeah, because Mum took in students.
One day when we came home, he'd been taken away in an ambulance because he had appendicitis.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mum always put it down to his Fray Bentos pie
Which obviously was nonsense.
Yeah, it was
He was studying
nonsense.
physics, I remember.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember when he arrived, it was throwing down with rain and he was soaked. He arrived on his motorbike, it was absolutely saturated.
Right.
Saturated. He used to make little models and things out of matchsticks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he made a motorbike, I remember, out of matchsticks. We're definitely off baked goods.
I know, but well, unless you come back to sponge pudding in a tin.
Sponge pudding in a tin. Heinz sponge pudding.
In a tin.
That was another one, wasn't it? You pierced the lid.
Yeah.
And you heated it up by putting the can in the boiling water.
Yeah, in a tin.
People can't imagine putting a can in a pan of boiling water.
No, it's probably quite dangerous.
The 70s was dangerous. The 70s was dangerous.
It was dangerous.
It was dangerous. So you think the 70s were dangerous? Imagine how dangerous the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. Although people didn't have as many cars then, but the 70s, the roads were quite busy.
Yeah.
But cars with no seat belts, no ABS braking.
No.
Mum and Dad were smoking in the car.
Yeah. Saf's mum and dad were rolling joints in the car.
There you go.
Yeah, because they were hippies.
Yeah, so
they just smoked joints while they were driving.
Whilst they were driving, it was the 70s.
With 2 kids in the back of the car. And then we would go rock climbing whilst they'd have a joint before they'd hooked me and Saf up with the ropes. And we'd go rock climbing. But my mum used to let me go away with them for the weekends, knowing...
Because they were sensible people. Because on one level they were, Tina and Steve.
Yeah, they were, but they couldn't do anything without having a joint first.
Can you imagine that?
No, so her mum...
Imagine sending Ruby away on like a climbing weekend, and two of the teachers were, yeah, we just have a joint before we get the kids all rigged up with carabiners. You'd be going, what? Oh yeah, it's fine, it's great, they're chilled out, it's lovely. You've got to be relaxed when you're climbing. Oh my God, I mean, we get a bit hungry afterwards.
They used to, so we'd go camping, and me and Saf would be in our little tent, and her mum and dad would be in their little tent. And they used to leave us on the campsite and go to the pub of an evening. So me and Saf would be left in a tent on our own on a campsite, and we'd have a gas burning lamp.
Yeah, but that'd be right, in a tent.
In a tent, yeah. Not dangerous at all.
If it was, but that's how you learnt risk, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I remember one night we were like...
It was like, be careful.
Don't touch the lamp.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah.
Don't touch the lamp.
Yeah.
Why? Otherwise, this whole thing will become a blazing inferno.
But we did...
And you're wearing polyester night attire.
Yeah.
Because that's what night attire is made out of, polyester.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, just be careful.
Yeah, and we did... end up chatting to quite a few boys on the campsite as well. No risk there at all whatsoever while our mum and dad are in the pub. How we're alive, I do not know.
Yeah, but we are, aren't we? That's the whole point.
I know, it's true.
And you learn risk. You learn to assess risk, don't we? We're well off baked goods.
I know. Well, Saf's mum and dad didn't really do baked goods because they were vegetarians. And in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't get a vegan sausage roll for love nor money.
Vegans hadn't been invented.
No, they hadn't.
Vegetarians had, because they were veggie.
They were veggie,
way ahead of the game.
But you couldn't get even a veggie sausage roll back then.
No, gosh, no.
You couldn't get any.
Well, it's an oxymoron.
The most they could get
sausage roll. It's like what?
From the chippy, they could get a cheese pie and chips. That's what they used to have as vegetarians.
Yeah.
Cheese pie and chips.
There's some baked goods. Pies from the chippy.
You used to have a pudding.
Pudding, chips and peas. Again, not a sweet pudding.
No.
In.
Oh yeah. Right. So the camera overheated, so we had to swap batteries. Right. Carry on.
So I was explaining, in the north of England, you can have something in a chip shop called a pudding, and it's not a sweet pudding; it's a savoury thing. So the case is made out of suet, which is like stodgy pastry, kind of white, horrible pastry, and then a kind of mince meat inside. They're sometimes rather affectionately known as a baby's head.
They were.
Baby's head pudding.
I didn't like them.
And they're steamed. It's a steamed thing. It's a very... Yeah, it's an acquired taste. Yeah, it's there's not a lot of meat in the meat pudding.
No.
But yeah, lovely.
I had meat and potato chips and chips. Meat and
potato pie. Yes,
chips.
You would. I remember
I didn't
that.
Have the
no,
mushy
that's
peas.
No. You always have. I do like mushy peas.
I don't. They're
great.
Gross.
Did you know that chip shop at the top of Gardner Road now is a mega place that people come from miles to see?
You said that?
Yeah, apparently, yes.
And it's got that massive mural of Marky
which
Smith,
we don't want to talk
is
about
horrible
that, do we?
because he was a nasty person.
I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I do apologise for that. It's very rude.
It is, Nick. It is rude. So I think there concludes, my lord.
Yeah, the baked goods.
The baked goods.
So we've gone from Mr. Kipling, which is sweetness and lovely. Oh, the last thing I have to say about that is Rob Patterson, my friend Rob, as you know, his dad, Frank, many years ago, for many years, worked as a warehouseman for Mr. Kipling's.
No, I didn't know that.
He did.
Oh.
So for a number of years, Rob had access to countless Kipling pies.
Oh my God.
Whenever he went round to his mum and dad's house, they had a cupboard full of Mr. Kipling stuff.
Is that why Rob's larger?
He's a larger lady.
He's a larger man.
Yeah, no, because Rob just loves his cooking. He loves his cooking.
Yeah.
He hates exercise.
Yeah.
He just loathes it. And I tell you what, he's one of the most together, calm, happy people.
He's lovely.
That I know genuinely.
Yeah.
If I could even genuinely have a tenth of his contentment, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Frank Patterson, yeah, Kipling's, and I still like them. Let's get this into perspective.
Can you eat
before
5?
Yeah, I could easily eat 5. I don't, because of vanity, and in a year me and Sally might buy 2 packets of Kipling products in a year.
Right.
Tops.
Right. Whereas I have never bought any, except for your birthday last year.
Yeah.
Because
I'm excluding mince pies there, because I do like mince pies. But then I'd just go Tesco's own. I actually think they're nicer. They're
probably made in the same factory.
I think they're nicer.
Yeah.
And not necessarily Tesco's Finest, just their regular ones. I think they're nice, deep filled. I like false.
You do.
When it comes to puddings.
Yeah, you do.
Bird's trifle.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that in the box?
No, they're horrible.
Lovely.
Oh, they're horrible.
Lovely. Gorgeous.
I don't like fresh trifle though, like proper trifle.
No, I'm not keen on
No.
The thing I didn't like about proper trifle when I was a kid is that people would throw loads. Is it sherry they put in trifle?
Yeah.
I couldn't abide it.
Well, as a kid, you don't really like sherry.
Yeah, true.
If you're a nana,
Yeah.
Nana used to love sherry, didn't she? What did she used to call it? Just like, I'm just having a little Tio Pepe.
Yes. You see, now I like a sherry of an evening.
A little Tio Pepe.
I like a sherry of an evening. I'm 57. I know what I like.
What you don't realise though, when your nana's having a little Tio Pepe, it's like really strong alcohol.
It is.
It's really, really powerful.
I tell you what we did buy. Here's me saying we don't buy anything. Yesterday we went to Haddington Tesco's because we're staying at the house, as you know, and as a treat, because Sally's real weakness is shortbread.
No.
Oh, that is her Achilles heel, is shortbread.
Would never
Nightmare.
have guessed
Nightmare. You
that.
ever want to treat her, just buy
Shortbread,
shortbread. So we bought
really?
a little box of Tesco's finest shortbread at the lot last night.
No. Goodness me.
Now that is enough, because we need to go.
Yeah. All right then. Goodbye.
Till next.
We hope you enjoyed Nick and Becca's Fireside Chats just as much as we enjoyed recording it. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever it is you need to do. And head over now to tricrest.com, TRICRES.com. There's a ton of resources there for business coaches and consultants. Some are free, some you have to pay for. We really look forward to welcoming you to the TriCrest family.